Okay, can everybody see that pretty good?
Yes.
Okay, good. Well, this is just what I'm going to demonstrate is the confetti veneer, and I've made a few sample earrings here. So just kind of showing you where I'm headed, okay? And I'm not sure, can you see? Oh yeah, you can.
Yep.
These are a little bit more on the purple side than the
Pink.
screen is showing on my screen. So, but anyway,
everybody's screen will be different on that.
yeah. My computer that I'm doing it on is an older computer. So
the difference between my laptop and the TV that I've got it projected on is quite a bit different. So,
all right, every screen has a different resolution. So let me set this aside. And how I begin this is, I think it looks much better if you begin with a Skinner blend. And I presume everybody knows how to do a Skinner blend, right?
Yeah.
yes.
Okay. If you don't, I'll demonstrate it, but I'm pretty sure everyone does. I think a Skinner blend just gives it a little bit more sophistication, having that as your background, as opposed to just a straight clay. So,
Agreed.
sometimes I will also do a stripe blend, and I would bet, I don't know all of y'all, so, but I would bet y'all have done stripe blends before. If not, it's just layering pieces, just a little hair over each other, like lapping them over just a little bit and keep on laddering them down and run it through the pasta machine this way, just like a Skinner blend. So it also lends itself well to a background color. So that's what I do first. I prepare a background color, and I just happen to have one made up. It actually was sort of a stripe. Yeah, you can see that it is. And it's red and gold. And I've got it on the number 3 thickness, or the medium thickness of my pasta machine. Okay. Then what I do, and I make canes, a lot of canes. I just sit and make canes. But when I have those ends, you know, that that are the throwaway part of a cane,
yep.
I save them. And I save them in these little folders. So I have multiple trash things that I eventually use. Y'all had Alice Stropel, didn't you, at one of your retreats?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And she makes those.
Her Stropel cane.
Well, no, not. What is it when she does her cute little animals? It's not coming to me.
Cane mapping.
Cane mapping, yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah.
also use these for cane mapping too, as opposed to just cutting a fresh cane to do cane mapping. I also have another blend here. It's the same blend, but I cut it and stacked it this way, which would also be a nice background for a confetti cane. Okay. And I'm just going to work. Well, maybe I'll work on this one since it's smaller, so you could kind of see one from beginning to end. I actually made me up some Mrs. Santa Claus earrings. You know, my husband and I play Mr. and Miss Santa Claus. So what I'm going to do is take those trash cane ends.
Marlene, I have a question.
Oh, yes, sir.
On that, the striped cane that you did, variegated, I'm not clear on how you got that effect.
Oh, this one? Okay.
But the one that's above?
This one.
Yes. How did you get that effect?
Okay, let me just show you right quick. Okay. on a piece. Okay, it's too thin.
Let's see if I can get basket weaved it.
Okay, this is a part of a striped blend of a cane, of a, not a cane, but a striped blend. Like I showed you the blue, the yellow, and the gold a few minutes ago,
Right.
stacked together, but it's already been blended. So what I will do is I'm going to stretch it just like you'd stretch to make a cane. I'm going to put it on the number 3 thickness of my pasta machine. Then I'm going to lay it down. And I like to lay it on a piece of glass
I work on glass.
because it sticks and I want it to stick. And you can square up both sides, but I usually just square up the end. Then you can just take little cuts of it. Is that glare too bad or can you see it? Let me move it over. Move my camera a little bit. There we go. Okay, so I took a cut that way.
So she's just rotating it.
I could take another cut and turn it around.
Let's see.
Well, heck. Or turn it with your fingers if it's not sticking.
That was-
Butt it up against it,
I've got it.
and you begin to create a design. This is something I learned from, oh, heck, her name slipped. Jana Roberts. Janet Benson Roberts or Robert Benson. But you can cut down straight and kind of slide as you cut, and the cut clay sticks to your blade, so then you can move it over, then butt that little edge up against the stack, and it sticks, and then you can kind of bounce it, and then that gets that seam going there. Then it's good to kind of clean your blade off. But notice I cut this at an angle, so you don't just have to cut it straight. Now, if I keep it that way, it's not going to be as pretty a blend. So I turn my knife blade around, set it down on my glass surface, switch my blade to the other side, and then I can push it up against there. See how that begins to make a design? Can you see that?
Yes.
And then I had a piece of black clay and I just cut a stripe in it and put it in there. So you could actually cut it from even a number of blends, and I just keep going as far as I want to. And I usually work with a wider piece of clay. That was just a scrap I had laying off to the side to kind of show you how I do that. Any questions about doing that?
No, that's perfect.
It's a fun, I could sit and do that all day long. And you could even take, after you got you a whole row, so you can push this as far as you want. After I finish it, what I would do, if I got a whole long row, just to get your mind going, is I burnish it really good to get those seams going together. But I go with the direction of the cuts and see how then it looks like it's totally seamed up. But then you can square that up and start creating a different pattern, a checkered pattern, or, you know, depends on how you laid it down before. So you could make another one that's totally different looking. A lot of times I'll take a larger blend and I'll do half of it just this way, or all of it this way, cut it in half, and then do the other half into a checkerboard blend. So then with one blend, I get two different patterns, which really is kind of fun. Okay. So once I do have my blend to make the confetti, I will come in with my scrap cane ends. I'll pick out colors I feel that will go with the blend that I've got. I'm going to try to put that over that glare. I'm going to turn it. No, I'm not. I'm going to turn it that way. So I try to pick out colors that will go with my blend, and I like to think of contrast. I don't want it to all blend in, although some of these might kind of. So let me lay that aside. And then, no, I didn't save one. Okay, let me pull one somewhere. There we go. So now this is the scrap cane. See, that's the end back side of the cane. It's not very pretty, that I saved on in my papers. So then I'm going to go to my pasta machine and I'll put it in the number 1. And that's stretching it. And I'm going to lay it crossways in my pasta machine. It's number 2. And I'll go all the way up to a number 6. So I'm getting it really pretty thin. Okay. Pretty darn thin. Okay. So that scrap has really become a tremendous size that's workable. So I have my blend here at a number, I think I put it on a number 2 of it's my Atlas machine. So now I begin to cut, move these a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. So I think I'm going to use this one first. That glare out of the way. So I just start getting me a straight edge going. And I'll square it up. I want to use the golden part of this cane. So I'm just cutting some of that off.
Your friend Janie just joined us.
Oh, okay. Hi. So I'm just going to start cutting some little bitty narrow pieces because this is beginning my background color. And notice I use that cut that I demonstrated to by cutting and pulling the knife. Then I can lay it down, letting that confetti just begin to drop, going in different directions, making it interesting, playful. I could also, well, I like to put a lot of the lines first. Little narrow lines. Could have run that a different direction. Put another big, larger one somewhere. Whoops. I like to get them kind of straight, especially on the straight lines. So now I'm going to even try something different. So I pull me up another cane I have stretched out. So maybe I'll start cutting it in a different direction or different size pieces. Little triangles, variety of size and shape makes an artistic piece look much better. Or you might call it, there's more eye candy going on if you have variety of size and shape. Because the whole idea is to get the viewer's eye to come and look at your piece, or hopefully buy your piece, right? So see how I'm jumping all around? I'm just kind of filling this whole little guy with interesting shapes. So let's try, that's not going to show up real well, but I'm going to try it anyway. But maybe even go with a different kind of a shape. You can't see it, so you don't know, right? So I'm going to just get a Kemper cutter. I've got some circles I'm going to cut out. And sometimes I'll get a needle tool out. Kind of help me lay them down. Oh, it's going to show up a little bit.
That's an awesome
Yeah,
tool.
Jan showed us a tool that is just really cool.
It's
It's
like
got
teeny
a
little
double-
fingers.
Like teeny little fingers. What's it called? What does it look like?
Oh, it's not a pickup tool. It's a.
I don't remember what he called it. Mine's laying in there on my table.
Not that little bitty needle tool, is it? The sewing needle tool?
Mhm.
No.
It's in a wooden handle.
Huh.
A Kemper K43.
Yes, that's it.
Yep, I bought several. I gave Betty one as a gift to say thank
Wow.
you for helping me.
Did y'all post it on the Facebook side or anything?
I'm pretty sure he did on his class.
Oh, okay. I've got to watch his class. I haven't watched it yet. I haven't had a
They're not
chance.
very expensive. You pay more for shipping than you do for the tool.
Oh, doesn't that make you mad?
So, yeah.
Okay, let's see. I've got another cane over here. Do you see how the confetti's beginning to build up?
Mhm.
I think I want to do some more of this gold. No, I want to do some of this red. So I've got some square cutters that I kind of like, and these tubes. I know one of the girls at Kansas City sells these. Had them quite a few years. So I'm cutting some squares out. I've got some stretched out canes here. I think it's Donna Harriman's the one that sells these. I don't know whether she's ever come to y'all's retreat or not.
It's like teeny weeny little tweezers. Yeah. And
Like tweezer, it works like.
see, it's got two little ends. And so like when I was working on that turtle.
What you got the tool?
I see it now.
Not showing up real well.
Wow, interesting.
K43 tool. Clay Factory. Ordered it from Clay Factory.
Those needles are
Clay
sharp.
Factory?
Yeah, Clay Factory.
I've never ordered from them. That didn't cut real well.
I just got through ordering a slew of clay from them, but they were all on back order. They're getting in
Back ordered,
slowly.
yeah.
And
I
then did you all know that Art, the one that makes the Dream Machine, that they sell clay?
No.
And
It
they're
actually
pretty
sticks
reasonably
it.
priced. Yeah.
I had ordered a long time ago from Monroe.
No, that's who I ordered from, Monroe.
Okay, you ordered.
You ordered this
Clay?
one?
The clay, I'm sorry. No,
Oh, you ordered the
that
clay.
one-
Clay from Monroe? I thought I read where they had back ordered.
and
They were.
They sent me.
Oh, they were back ordered? Yeah. I just ordered a little bit from
The,
Poly Clay Play.
They're
Clay.
on everything. Poly clay's on everything.
They've got a little bit.
Oh, there's some.
Well, I buy the pound sizes usually, unless it's like a zinc yellow, which you can't get in a pound. So
Right.
I ordered the 2-ounce cubes. But anyway, Artway, I found that their price is pretty good.
okay.
and they didn't have any, I ordered the yellow and.
I ordered a whole big order, you know, and I had said, ship it all at once. So they have just texted me again, an update. Not the big white, not the big black, not the,
I've
not
just
the,
been letting them ship it to me.
Have you?
Yeah.
So you just pay for
I
it?
shouldn't have had it right there.
You're
I
there,
hate,
the,
I hate doing that double shipping,
Yeah,
triple shipping.
that's
but-
why I guess I put it that way.
Okay, Marlene, I'm trying to find you here on Curious Mondo.
I should be on there. I'm February 9th.
Well, I'm looking at instructors. And I'm hoping when I find you, I can just click on it and then,
Let me send you a link. I'll send the guild a link and then I get credit for it.
Good.
Okay, if you sign
Okay.
up.
Yeah, I can send that out.
Okay.
there's
I'm gonna
Melissa.
go with, huh?
I said, there's Melissa.
In
That's
fact,
a-
I can post it on the video too, whenever I put it up.
Well, let me send you the, yeah, I'll send you the link. So,
That's weird. I'm not finding them.
and Debbie, it would be kind of cool. I could even add you know how you had the thin slices that were cured? After I cut my earrings and stuff, I could add that to it too. So I think that would be kind of cool. So, and I was trying to see if I had another itty bitty. No.
Tom must be having a problem with his audio.
He usually does.
He just connected on a different device.
So I'd say this is just about finished. Any questions about this part?
That's really cool.
So I get it to where it looks gaudy is what I call it. But I like a lot of pattern and design.
That would make a great art piece on a wall in the dollhouse.
Uh-huh.
So when
Mark
I get
is
it,
seeing how he can use it. I don't know if you heard him, but he's seeing how he can use something like that as an art piece on a dollhouse wall.
yeah, yeah. And I have done the fish picture, you know, with the that was on the, oh, I think it was on the website or on the Facebook page. I use it in mosaic, thin mosaics that I make also. So, you know, just any way you can use veneer. And I've covered fairy houses, the outside, with some of my veneers made this way too. Just different look. You know, if you've got a modern fairy that likes gaudy decorations on their house, I think it fits in well. So I'm just using up those that I got cut out. Okay. So now I want to make sure they're all down flat. So I take a piece of whatever this is called. I never can remember stuff whenever I'm demoing.
Parchment?
Parchment, yeah. What did I do with my little burnisher? I must have eaten my burnisher. Let me get another one. I like to use a piece of plastic or a piece of cardboard as a burnisher as opposed to just my fingers. So I'm just mainly making sure that I'm getting good contact with all the pieces that I laid down. And I did lap some of them over. I could run this through the pasta machine again on the number 2 setting if I wanted to, or if I want to leave it as a raised surface or a dimensional surface, I could leave it that way, and it would have a little bit of a raised effect. I don't know whether you can see that. Yeah, a little bit, can't you? That it is raised up. So that would give it some dimension. It just, it's personal choice. I a lot of times like to get it down flat. So I will even take one of the soapstone things and get it much flatter.
Marlene, what's the name of your class on Curious Mondo? Because I can't find you as an instructor.
It's, containers, self-standing containers and bowls and containers.
Okay.
And that's the symposium in February, the polymer clay.
Oh,
Symposium.
maybe it's not listed.
May not be. They just sent us out, but I could send it.
Go ahead and send it. I was
The
just
link
looking
where
there.
you can look and see, because it doesn't have the whole class or everything. It just has the date.
Okay, because no, that was a different company that I signed up for, right? Was that-
Okay, so now that's a little more flat onto it. Looks like a sports game going on, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So what you can do is a couple of things. On the purple one that I did, I put liquid clay on top and let it sit overnight. And if you let it sit overnight, then it's kind of soaks in and gets dry. Okay? And then I can take and cut my things out just all over the place. Or I can take and cut out and then put the liquid clay on the cutouts. So I'm going to show you on the one that it's dry how you can put the liquid clay on the cutouts. I'll cut out some and then I'll put liquid clay on this one as soon as I can get everything kind of cleared away and not throw my Kemper cutter in the scrap pile. How many of y'all have used the liquid clay before?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got quite a bit of liquid clay.
Liquid
I haven't
clay?
I haven't used it that way.
No, me neither. I didn't know you could.
Okay. I mean, I used it to make little, leaf molds and such. Something was wet somewhere. Yes, it was the clay. But I like doing it this way and decorating the pieces. So what you do is you get you a tile out or a piece of glass to put your liquid clay in. And you should always stir the liquid clay. And I use a knitting needle
Did not know that.
just to stir it. And I'm using the Sculpey liquid clay. I like it better than the Kato. And I've not used any other brand but Sculpey and Kato. So I just take and put my knitting needle in there and stir it up, although this is pretty stirred up. And then I just put me a dollop on my tile. Doesn't take very much. I try to save as much as possible. And I get it everywhere. Of course. Never fails. I'm going to use black and white on this one. You can leave it on the tile like I had some left over from using it yesterday. So as long as you cover it up, you know, it's like anything with polymer clay. It attracts fuzz and dog hair and everything else. So you want to kind of cover it, put a dish over it or something. So I'm going to use the white. Some of the other colors like yellow and red, they just, they're kind of transparent. I don't think they show up as well.
What you think? Did that just come? Was that door? Oh, might be a good idea to close that door. Anyway, would you go grab my first one?
Now the yellow, I could probably mix some white because you can mix colors. So the yellow, I could probably mix white with it and it would be more opaque.
So if you're doing something, mixing something there, you're off camera.
Yeah, I was just closing the lid up.
Okay, okay.
I wasn't mixing. I was making a comment that I could probably mix.
Yeah, right.
So I may use a little bit of gold too. I think gold would kind of look nice, be repeating the gold clay. So, and if your liquid clay is kind of thick, you can put clay thinner, softener in it.
Yeah, that I knew.
Yeah, and Cindy Holt did something that I really liked when she was making,
Oh, I guess I did too know that because
Huh?
I did too know that because she added the clay softener and it makes it more bendable.
right, that's what I was
Whenever
gonna
I do
say. That's what I do when I do these leaves. Because, you know, you can just fold it in half and everything. So that way, whenever I do an earring with the leaf, I can put it on a cake pan and make it domed, okay? So now I do have my clay, so I can just start decorating. And I like to, if I'm gonna do lines, I like to get a credit card and just dab in the clay and kind of work it off on my board.
Ah, similar.
Didn't you get one of those?
Maybe.
Oh, I was just showing, you know, what I had done with some liquid clay. I did some string art.
You did string art, pulled the string through it.
Yeah,
That would be neat on these even.
I did inchies. And I don't remember who all got some. Those are the last two I have left.
So see, I can get it more gaudy. The more I do, the gaudier it can get. So I can do the same with the black or any color.
Oh, I'm confused. I thought you painted over that whole thing.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, and I was trying to figure out why you would use colors.
So you didn't think this was how I did it? You thought I painted?
Yeah, we thought you painted the liquid clay.
I am. I'm painting the liquid clay on with a credit card. That way I have a little control over what I'm getting.
I'm confused.
And I also like to use a stylus. Have y'all used a stylus with the liquid clay before?
No.
Okay, it's kind of neat. A stylus, of course, you know what it is. It's just a ball tool. And if you dip it in the clay, dip it straight up and down, hold your stylus perpendicular, put it down and you get one dot. Don't dip again and you get a smaller dot and a smaller dot and a smaller dot and a smaller dot till you run out of clay. on it. So you can get a progressive dot, or, you know, it gets smaller and smaller. Or you can re-dip each time and get all the same size.
Psychedelic.
Huh?
I don't know. This reminds me of something like psychedelic or something from the 60s.
Yeah. Confetti thrown all over the place. So now I'm putting white. I love to get them real busy. I just think it gives you a lot whenever you start cutting. If I tilt the stylus to one side, I don't get a perfect dot, except sometimes when the camera's right there, I hit the camera. Sorry about that. Now I can go to a smaller balled end, because if you, some of you probably have these tools that have the silicone on the end. Well, on the other end are ball tools, so they have progressively smaller. And you can use all kinds of different things to make marks. This is just a few of the tools I use. Sometimes I use one of my blades. That will give you much thinner lines.
I bet a ripple blade would give some cool effect.
Yeah, let's try it. Let me see. I don't have the ripple blade right here. But you could use a cookie cutter. There we go. Where my larger one is. So you would dip it and bounce it to the side. Just a round cookie cutter. Because you want to get an even coat on it.
Oh, I like that. Well, you got more liquid clay there on your little tile than what you're going to need. Do you try to scrape that off and put it back in the bottle, or?
No, you can take and set it aside, put you a dish over it so it won't get dusty. I mean, I could try scraping it back, but if I know I'm going to use it sometime before long, within the next year or two.
That's what I should
really,
have in mind.
You know, and I do have probably too much put out, and but I know I'm going to probably do some more. So
You can actually set that tile in like a clear box and then just shut the lid on the box.
yeah, you could put it in a box or a plastic container, you know, just anything that will just keep it to where it's not to prevent the air from hurting, it's to prevent dust from getting in it.
Have you worked with heat set oil paints?
Genesis?
Yes, I have the Genesis.
Yeah, I just discovered that.
Yeah, they're neat. They really are. I took a workshop from Donna Greenberg. I've not even used the gold hardly at all. Let's see if I can.
I ordered them. But it's been a long time.
I was just little teeny jars.
Yeah, me too. But I got mine in a little pack.
That's not really showing up.
But
Maybe after it bakes.
you know,
Yeah, or after it dries.
yeah, but this was years.
I'm going to go with a little white.
ago.
My favorite is the black and the white, simply because they show up good.
Yeah, blend it. It doesn't dry.
Is that not getting busy or what?
Yeah.
But, you know, if you cut earrings from this, you're not going to know if the earrings match or not, right? It's just so busy with pattern. I could cut that out and that could be a painting. I could just hang at the gallery, right?
Yeah.
Marlene, are you going to let this sit overnight so it can settle So you won't smear it now if you cut shapes out of it, or? how
Right,
do
it
you-
will smear now, so I'll set it
Okay.
overnight until I can touch it and not get
Yeah.
anything back. If I were to cut it now, I would have it smeared about like this tile.
Sure,
So-
yeah.
So,
Okay, good.
and you
Good
do
for that.
set it aside and probably put something over it so that, you know, you don't get any fuzz or animal fur or hair in it. So I'm going to set that aside. I hope I don't put something down on it. So then pretend it sat overnight. This one has. So it's dry. It's a little bit tacky in places, but we're kind of humid here today. But what it does is that liquid clay soaks in. So I'm going to make some earrings, okay? I'm going to use one of my little leaves that I've got, or two of them, and make an earring. This is one of my favorite ones to do, or these little leaves, because I love how the design shows through. Okay. So then I can take and burnish that down. Something's eating my burnishers. Okay. I like to burnish these all the way down because I did not put any liquid clay or poly paste or anything. So if I burnish them down in there really good, that is going to raise the clay up that's underneath where it's really sitting into it well. And then I have a little needle tool. This little tool here, I think it comes in the sewing department. And then I have a sponge with water that I just put the tool in. And I'm going to raise the camera because I'm going to hit it. Hold your needle tool straight up and down. And I'm just going to cut that leaf. Whoops, that didn't get flat there. Let me burnish that one more time. I see it's not burnished hardly enough. It's wanting to lift on me. So I am giving it quite a bit of pressure. Just didn't give it enough pressure a while ago. So I'm just trimming around that. And I'll just do one for time. Blade and lift with. So now I have a little earring. And that is pretty thin. I clean up my edges. But then this doesn't satisfy me to be just like that. I want to be an artist. So I will take a little bit of that same color of clay. I'm going to wad it up. And I'm going to make me a little snake. But I'm going to be a little creative. When I make that snake, I start twisting it because this is going to be the vein in the leaf. And it's going to give it a little bit of sturdiness. So then I will take a little liquid clay. I do take liquid clay this time and put it down on where I'm going to attach the stem. So figure out where you want it. And it just gives it just a little bit more, gives it some dimension. And I like that look, have a little dimension. So it doesn't say that she just got lazy and didn't do any more extra. Then I'm going to trim it off. And kind of shape just the end of it. Sometimes I mash that down just a little bit right there. So now I've got my first earring. And I love it when it just shows through the design. And I like to put my earrings on something to make it domed a little bit. I like these Fat Daddy-O cake pans. So I check it out to make sure that it's making good contact all the way. Okay. So now that's doing nothing to it as far as adding liquid clay. But I can come in and do other kinds of earrings. I can use cookie cutters. I can freeform cut them. Just a number of things. And this is what I like, is why I like, I'm going to set that aside. I'll get that later. Why I like to have a blend is because you can get a neat effect by having it where the blends, one blend is darker than the other. You know, like it's lighter at the top, or get different sections of it. Have a different look.
And Marlene, did you texture your clay?
I did. I didn't that one that I worked on a while ago. This is just, and I'd forgotten to tell y'all that this is aluminum foil textured.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all that it is. So I'm going to cut a couple of pairs of earrings out.
Eddie, I was gonna ask that too. Was that from saran wrap laying on it, or, but thank you for asking, Betty. Yeah.
Yeah. And I had the foil laying out here, so I remember to tell y'all. Did I look at it? No.
Or I was gonna ask if you put TLS over the whole sheet and it made that effect.
Yeah, that was what I was wondering.
No, I did not. I'm too chintzy to have done that. Okay. That one, you didn't make this cutter, Betty, because
No,
it
I have those cutters, but I
doesn't
didn't
have a sharp beveled edge on it. Okay. I may have to recut that one. Oh, maybe I can get by
Those
with
are
it.
from what's her name down in Jessica, whatever her name is, Jessica.
Jasmine or something. Yeah.
Jessica Tutorials.
Yeah.
And she sells those on Etsy.
I got them free somehow.
We had them. She sent us some for
Polymer Clay TV, I think. Wasn't it?
it was retreat.
Yes.
I have a couple of sets actually.
And I haven't tried them to see how well I cut. I know I made a cutter with my 3D and it does not cut well at all.
Well, I made a mess of that one. Okay, so what I'm going to do, and it is pretty thin, I'm going to clean up my edges. Try not to mess up my texture that I have. So I'm just going to do it to one just to show you what I do. No, I'm going to do it to two to show you. Then I'm going to lay it on my form.
Custom cutters. I do this little thing where you do the cross and
Just about lost my point.
with the scripture on it, going through the doorway and the blood.
Mhm.
And so the cutter needed to be a cross, but it needed to have an L on it so that it would fit
Right.
on the doorway. I finally got it to come out with a lot of, somebody finally tweaked it for me and just emailed me the link. But
Mm.
I suppose if I picked stuff that was already complete and done, I wouldn't have any problem getting it to
Yeah.
work.
It's there's a lot involved in creating 3D stuff. So
I probably really ought to look into selling.
Anything with technology just really has a lot of learning, doesn't it?
yeah, it does. And Connie, yours is the
Silhouette.
original one, isn't it?
It's the
Silhouette.
Silhouette.
Yeah, it's the Alta, but
Yeah.
they've got another version of it, you know,
Oh.
like an Alta Pro, or I don't remember what they call it, but anyway,
And I bought gobs and gobs of filament.
Mm.
So now I use the palm of my hand to kind of smooth down and make sure that this is making contact to my cake pan.
On Facebook, there is a,
Then I take this tool
I bought several, I bought a glass.
and that kind of helps me clean up those edges where it's not a good sharp cut. Of course, I can always sand it whenever it's cured.
Nope, we're not friends with.
Do you know what shape that is or what it's called? It kind of looks like
Um,
a face with ears sticking out, but
It came in a set, I think, from Polymer Clay TV with one of
Now,
their
the
retreats.
orange ones look like they came from Polymer Clay
Jewelry
TV.
making.
mhm.
Yeah,
The orange will come from Polar Clay TV.
Yeah.
That's their
Yeah.
sick.
from their retreat from one of the instructors, I think.
Glass?
Or it could have been in one of the free boxes or something that I won or something. Okay, so I want to make sure I don't have any fingerprints. I want to make sure I've got the texture I want. I could come back in here and texture it again, but I kind of like the texture that's on there and I don't see any fingerprints. So now I can come in here and redecorate or decorate more or what have you with my tools. Another good tool to design with is a regular earth and clay tool. It's just a little thin piece, but it makes even a thinner line.
I had written down, but I don't know if I wrote it down right.
Artist Garage.
Other working stamps.
The
work well.
advantage to doing this now instead of just an all over pattern is I can make the reverses of them.
Yeah.
So, it just depends on you, what you like to do. You can also have it run off the piece, which can also be kind of a neat look.
We could do another search.
Go to where you're just, let me go back. When you get exact. Up here, your search button.
You can make it more
So
specific.
I typed in polymer clay.
More made. Friend request you.
Yes. So there's a lot of posts that have to do with polymer clay.
Excellent.
So this way, by doing it this way, then you're designing each individual piece. Each one is custom made, so it just depends on what you like to do.
We've got someone with their hand raised. I'm not sure who that is. Is that
Where?
Tom?
On the TV.
Yeah, that's Tom. You have a question, Tom, or?
Yeah, you could use leatherworking tools as stamps on those.
Oh, yeah.
Perhaps that, yeah, like as to texture with, you mean?
Right.
Yeah. or grommets or, just anything you can find around the house. Definitely. So, but you can see how now that pattern that I have over here
Thank you.
has definitely changed. I could also come in and redecorate on this one. You can come back and redot on top of a dot. You can do it a little bit when it's still wet, but it does even better here. So I mean, I just do simple painting, but I do a lot of it, so it looks complicated. So after I get it all decorated, I'll cure it, and I usually cure for an hour. And then I will assemble my earrings. Let me get this stuff out of the way. There is one disadvantage to doing Zoom. It is one mess around your studio after you do Zoom, that's for sure. You have to have you a whole horseshoe of tabletops to work from. Okay, what did I do with those earrings?
I didn't tell you yesterday when I was showing you my studio, that thing of drawers that I have, that I was having to move out of the way so I could show you other stuff. That is what I use that for. That's my extra tabletop.
Tabletop, yeah. I've got stools laying all around, and I do have a counter behind me too. So what I do is, now these are pretty flimsy with it being just a number 2 setting. So I like to put a backing to them.
But they will be lightweight.
Oh, they will, because I'm still just putting a number 3, I think, backing to it. But the way I do this is
Flexible.
I made some earrings that are studs. So I will just put the clay to the stud. And I have learned that I put the stud up a little bit so that if I want to drill a hole here to connect another dangle, I would have enough room for a hole to fit, So I'll do that. I also like to put my whatever I'm going to make my thing dangle from, like this is a jump ring, or if I wanted to put an eye pin or something, I usually will take some Gorilla Glue, super glue, and I like the gel because it stands up. So before I get started, I will take, and I find especially on these pointy things like this,
I thought the expansion.
that's so pointy. What I'll do is take my scissors and trim off the very point, just a hair. Then I will put a dollop of super glue down. My light moves with, I got to, move my camera over. Then I will take a jump ring and lay in that little dollop of super glue, let it set aside and set up. Now I could have just covered it
For early voting?
and drilled a hole, but I think they hang prettier. Okay, there's why I cut the point off, because if I cut the point off, then my jump ring will lay flat and nice, and then I can put my ear wire through there. So I'll let that set up on both of those before I do them. Didn't have to do both of them, did I?
It's usually best to do them at the same time.
Especially since I've squeezed the glue out.
Yeah.
We'll glue that metal.
Mhm.
That's good enough.
So I do try, yeah, you can get them balanced about the same distance.
I'm wondering how doable that would be.
Come on, stay.
Oh, no, it's not going to behave because you're on.
No, because there's a camera. You know, if ever anything can go wrong when you're demoing, it will. So that's just the characteristic of demoing. Okay, so that's going to dry. I just happen to have some dry ones here. And here's a pair of the little leaf ones I've made earlier. So I do have a thinner coat of black. I like black, or you could use a color that would complement, or you could go to the veneer and put another, you know, piece of the veneer on it too. Personal choice. I coat the back with a little liquid clay or poly paste, whatever you use to usually stick it. I intermix, just depends, whatever I have. Then I lay my clay down, and this is on a number, I think a number 3. And I just mash it down, making sure I'm not getting any air trapped.
She's gonna bake it.
The excess clay away. Then I just tear it.
Go will hold up.
You will?
That's what I think of her. I think Chris.
There may be an easier way to do it, but this, I don't know. My fingers just seem to work better than anything. Then I take a blade
I'm pretty sure she said the Gorilla Glue was just.
and trim the edges. And I hold the blade at an angle.
Yeah, the pasty.
Bevel it.
Tell you how many bottles I bought that was dried out.
Holding it towards the back side so that it kind of makes a beveled edge. I like the little line of the color of the earring to show. That's just one of my things. I like it. And I like for it to be even.
Does anybody ever think those are earrings made out of the leather cutter? You know what I'm talking about? Have you seen those earrings? They're teardrops, and it's like a press machine, and you order strips of, not strips, sheets of like leather or vinyl.
Leather. Using it like a cricket, cutting it with like a cricket or a silhouette.
My niece made.
I
never wear them.
I was gonna say I don't get the attraction. I do not.
Now I trim out around by the jump ring.
Leather is always the same color pretty much.
They decorate.
And if I don't get enough trimmed after it's cured, I know I can always drill
They're very lightweight.
to get enough space there.
Marlene, do you prefer Gorilla Glue over Loctite glue?
Loctite's the other kind of.
It's super glue that dries quickly. It's like, I like to use the gel, but how long does it take to have the
It doesn't take long.
Oh.
I've used the Loctite before, but I like the super glue. The Gorilla, because you have to shake it up each time.
Huh.
And it just seems like it lasts longer and comes out of the container better to me than the Loctite. I've used both.
Yeah, okay, great.
But I just like the idea of the shaking. It just seems like I can get every bit of it used up. And then with the Loctite, it seems like that there's some in it when I have to throw it away.
I know what you mean.
Yeah. So, and I found that the Gorilla Glue, shaking it, you can get almost to the very last drop out of it.
Question about glue.
Pardon?
Okay, Lisa Pavelko has a glue that like a super glue that she says it will hold up under heat. I heard.
I'm not too fond of it.
I'm not either.
Yeah, I still prefer my Gorilla Glue. So now I have made me my name, which my jewelry name is Lola, which is my first name. So I've got me a little, except if you cut it on the right side, it'll cut better. Did you know that?
Well, my question
yeah.
is, will those glues hold up under heat?
This will some, but the actual holding power is going to be the clay to hold that.
Well, you're right, but not in this application. Let's just say you wanted to glue something onto a piece of clay. Because that's the thing that Lisa brags about her glue is that
I have put stuff just with this glue before and it's held.
okay.
So I put my logo. I've mended pieces with it even, and it holds. And then I'll put maybe liquid clay on top of it and baked it, and it holds. So this is my name, and I'm just burnishing it in or rolling it in. Then I use something to texture the background, and this is just not really a makeup sponge, but it's one of those fingernail sponges, just a fine mesh sponge to do the texture of it. On these lightweight things, sometimes I just like just a simple little texture. And I see I squeezed it too much, and I may have to trim it just a little bit more. This is the part that takes all the time, finishing and labeling. And mounting jewelry takes the time. Get that out of the way.
Can I use your clay on?
But to me, if you take your time with the finishing part, it really shows in your work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Plus, Marlene, it's worth every dollar on your price tag when you're selling it.
Right. I think so. You know, of course, a lot of people, they look for the price tag cheap. But I like my stuff to look finished whenever I'm finished with it. And now this having been on a flexible, I could put it like that and mount it, but I'm going to lose my texture. So what I do a lot of times is I take me some baking soda. I have a whole pan of baking soda, and I'll just lay it down in it like that so that my dome will hold. Although a lot of times it will hold. And I do this the same way. I may take a Kemper cutter, or I use some leather tool sometimes. And to cover the, what am I trying to say? The stud. But I will take and put a little poly paste or liquid clay, whichever. And I just try to find the center, sort of, whenever I put it down and put it over. I know a lot of people never cover the studs, but to me, just that little extra, I think it would hold better. I would feel bad if somebody brought my piece back and said, my stud fell off, can you put me another one on? So, you know, I just feel like if you attach things with clay, it just stays longer and sturdier. I don't know, maybe that's
That's what I do.
yeah, I just, you know, I don't like to buy stuff and it fall apart before I even get it home or only wear it once. So I just figure we'll take the time and do it. And now the stud, I will put it needle side down or stud side down into the baking soda. And I bake for a full hour, all my stuff.
I do too.
I've just had better luck. And I bake it, this is primo, I bake it between 275 and 300. I prefer it to be right about in the middle or closer to 300.
We did those molds, we didn't bake them down.
Huh?
When we
What was
did-
that?
When we did the molds, like the one that Jane was showing us. Yeah, I don't think we baked them, but when you get done after you bake it again, you've ended up baking it for an hour or longer.
Yeah, I even, if I say my teapots, if I do multiple baking, I bake each one 300, for an hour
That I did.
Each one? Huh.
each time. I've read where it
Thank you.
gets sturdier every time you bake them. So I figure, well, I want it to be as sturdy as possible. So
I like
Why-
to say the longer, the stronger. That helps me know to make them longer. Can't miss.
that's what I've always read. So
Yeah.
now I do,
But
and
the
I see on this one, I do turn, especially when I use black, I do turn my things over and check them because sometimes you do get some trash on them. So
As
that's,
far as the baking,
pardon?
as far as the baking, if you bake hotter, and I'm kind of surprised that you bake closer to 300.
Thank you. That was a question I had.
But because I know with Cato, you bake it at 300.
300, but Kato, you can go up to almost 350.
Really?
That's 275.
Mhm.
Anyway,
Or
but
maybe it's 325.
too,
They have articles I've read are learning that you can bake polymer just a little bit hotter than what the recommendation is. And I think Ginger Davis had written an article on it and tested some of the different temperatures. And I believe Donna
I think that-
Cato even said that she was beginning to bake her clay even hotter, but it may be 325, not over 325.
Yeah. I've heard that you can go up to like 325 on Cato.
Yeah, I guess it's 325, not 350.
Primo can darken and scorch if you get above 275. Now you can bake them for a full hour or longer and it doesn't change color or anything, but if you get too hot on your oven, that's when it's.
Well, I cover everything, even my teapots. I tint it with foil, or what I use, my favorite thing to do if it'll fit, and I do have a larger oven, is to get some roasting pans like the caterers use and lay tiles down for heat sink, and then put my stuff on that. And then in a pan, I put the tiles in that baking pan. And then I have another baking pan I put on top as a lid. And my whites stay white. So I've had very good luck with covering and such. So, and like I said, I will bake up to almost 300. So,
Yeah, Debbie says with the exception of translucent because it may get brown.
well, let me see. Where is some translucent?
Baking for an hour will allow the spikes to go out of it. That way you don't have problems with it spiking.
Right? I don't open and close my oven
Well,
either.
I know, but
Yeah,
I mean, just
even,
going for an hour will keep the spiking of your oven from,
It will not allow the spiking. Is that what you're saying?
right. Well, it'll cover the spiking. I mean, that way the time that spends in there is an adequate amount of time for the clay to cure.
Right. So here are some different,
I like your calla
Yeah,
lily.
here-
Those are cool.
Here, this pair has some transparent liquid on it, if you can see the shine. And that's baked between 275 and 300, and it has kept the shine. I'm trying to find something transparent, but I can't. And these are just some of the styles of the different little,
Are they like you had?
you know, if you could see my, I'll have to show, here's my shoebox full of the different kinds of confetti earrings, different styles put together differently, different cuts. I mean, it's, you know, you can do this as far as your imagination will let you. This was my COVID thing. This is what I did when we were first isolated. Now here's some of my lighter clay. And see, I'm able to keep the colors. This
Okay,
was
I have a question, Marlene.
pardon?
I
Pardon?
have a question. You're baking in a regular home oven, correct?
My larger pieces, these are done in a toaster oven, a
Okay.
convection toaster oven.
Okay.
Yeah, mine's a convection.
I was thinking you get the
need to go ahead
spikes
and
with a
choose.
convection oven and maybe not with a home oven.
Well, my little home oven's a cheaper one. At first, I did get spikes. This is a different kind, but you can see I'm maintaining it's. I mean, you know, polymer clay does not keep the exact same color as when it's moistened with the oil, but I'm keeping good, strong color. I've had very good luck. Knock on wood. Watch me burn something.
But that's because you're tinting it.
I know it, you know. So, but I mean, these little things are fun to do. Now, this one, I just laid ropes down and did not burnish them down, so they're textured. Also, I like to, where did those white ones go to? Sometimes I'll make little designs with flowers and things on some of the, I don't do all confetti things. This one here was fun. I save all the, when I drill holes in my earrings, if I do them that way, I save all the drillings from it, the cured earrings, put it in a jar, and then later on I may mix it in with my clay. So this was mixed in with some dirty white clay, and you can see the little specks in it. And it makes a neat, what is it, a trazine looking type blend. And just different colors. You know, you can do as much or as little as you want to as far as the confetti part. So I reckon that's all I know. Any questions? Any questions?
I have a question. Did you say you do or you don't tint?
What, the liquid clay?
Well, you said your whites, that the whites stayed clear white
They
because
say pretty white. This is solid white in this cane. And this is transparent. I knew I had some transparent.
so do you tint or not tint?
My transparent, this has not been tinted.
Now I'm saying T-E-N-T when you bake it.
Oh, tint. Oh, yes, I always tint.
Always tint.
Yes.
I was wondering what we're talking about.
I tried it one time to, you know, just because I thought, well, maybe I don't need the tint. And I regretted it because it would give it a slight toasting. And I think that's because in the little toaster ovens, the elements are on the top. And, you know, in the larger ovens, the elements are on the top too, but it's usually for broiling. So the main heat in the larger ovens are in the bottom. So yes, I tent, but I even tent in my big oven. Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mine is
Yeah.
top and bottom.
Mine too.
I just figure the heat is more even too. And I also put ceramic tile if it'll fit in the bottom and not touch my elements. Like in my big oven, I put my lower rack down low, then I have ceramic tile over it, and then my rack that I bake on is up above that. I just feel like the ceramic tile just gets the heat of the oven more even. So I even do that in my little toaster oven. So
Yeah, my older toaster oven, my original one that I had ceramic tiles in the bottom of it. I had some stacked on top,
Yeah, me
you know,
too.
to keep the temperature even and
then I put
to avoid
insulation
those
around my oven too.
spikes.
yeah, I think it does just even up the temperature for sure. Even I've got a little, when I teach on the road, I've got a smaller toaster oven I take and I do it the same way with ceramic tile. Somebody had told me they could put one in the top of theirs, but I never could get mine figured out how to put one in the very top. And that's why I like to tent my stuff. And let me get my pans to show you how I tent.
The only drawback is that you have to adjust the temperature in 25-degree increments. And so mine is too hot at 275, so I have it on 250, but I've got two thermometers in there.
Another one. But I think the more we pay for an oven, the better. I got one from Aldi's that just, I had to basically throw it away.
Well, this one has been good. I had another one in between the two. I still have my old one. It's kind of as a backup, but there was another one in between and it didn't last.
So what I do, this is my tray I bake on in my little oven, my convection oven. Put a couple of tiles down. Then I can put a piece of cardboard or cardstock that I've got my things laid on so they're not shiny. Then this is a piece of a disposable aluminum pan like this one in a way, but I cut it the ridges off so I can tint it that way. I can bend it every which way and kind of cover and not touch my items that I bake.
Good idea.
That's cool.
And this is a little thicker than aluminum foil, so I think it works just a tad better. It also gives me more control. It's stronger to where I can reuse it and reshape it.
Mhm.
When I turn my larger oven, I'm going to turn this up, I think, a little bit and see if you can see. Whoa, it's going to go.
Whoops. Not sure. Whoop. You had it there for a minute.
It's going to be upside down, but I think you'll get the idea. So I have a baking pan like the delis use, you know, for parties and things. I put cardboard in it. If I had more tile, I would put tile down in the bottom of it. Then I take another pan, put it on top,
Yeah.
and then I have like a, I have like a roaster pan. Which I guess you could use you know, those navy blue speckled pans as a roast, as a baking thing too. Let me turn me. I'm getting dizzy upside down.
You could do the same thing with a smaller pan, and I have a Hamilton.
Yeah, you could go with a smaller pan, but in a big oven, yeah. Well, I've lost my turner arounder. Okay, there we go. Okay,
Oh, there you go.
so that's it for me.
Thank you.
I do thank you all for letting me demo. I hope I didn't go too long, but I hope I spurred some interest in doing confetti jewelry. And
Okay.
so
Wonderful. I
Yeah.
learned so much. Thank you.
Why,
Yeah.
thank
There are a
you.
couple of
Mary.
things.
You learned something. I thought you knew it all. Mary Jo.
Marlene, Betty has a question.
Well, I don't have a question. I have a couple of things. Let me see, let me get this where I
Is
can.
that tool y'all talked about?
Okay, this is the tool. This is on the side here. I don't know if you can see that. It says K43. It's got a wooden handle. Yeah, it's hard to see it here.
Well, what is different about it? Is it a small point? Or,
It's this.
oh,
It's
The
like a
dual
teeny weeny
needles.
little.
Hold it still.
oh, it looks almost like a seam ripper.
Not
Or
there.
a sensor.
Okay.
Oh, it spreads apart.
Yeah.
You can spread it apart, but the way Jan was using it was just like this. And he would pick up
Just little pieces of clay.
little
The
pieces of
soft
clay. Now it works on textured clay to do it this way. Let's see, let me get, and he would pick it up like that and then lay it down where he wanted it.
You can also do
Oh,
it.
okay. So it doesn't make a deep hole or anything.
No, it's really tiny, tiny, tiny holes.
Huh.
No. And then Debbie was asking about the cane mapping. And so I brought in my butterfly that I did. And what we did, Debbie, was we put like the glass that Marlene was using. You put a picture, like a black and white, line drawing underneath. And then you lay out your canes on top, that's underneath the glass. And then on top of the glass, you put your canes and put them, where you want them to create that design that's on the drawing. Does that make sense?
And this
Very
here
good, very
is
good.
actually,
Great.
this is actually one of Alice Stropel's cane mat.
Yeah, that's what this butterfly is. That was from that class.
Well, this is one that she made that I got. It's under glass, but it's a fun thing to do for sure.
I have my fish that I made from Alice Stropel's cane mapping.
Do you? Yeah.
Where is it?
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Gorgeous. Yeah.
Oh, I can't see it. How do we?
Well,
make
I'm
that?
talking now, so I guess maybe you can see
Oh,
it.
Wow.
Let me, hang on just a second. Well, I can't find you.
That was great.
Can y'all see it?
Mhm.
yes, beautiful.
Okay,
That's beautiful. You need to frame that up or make a
I
picture.
know. I just haven't done it yet.
Okay, now that I've got you spotlighted, you put it down.
Oh. Well, okay. Here we go.
There we go. Yeah, that's really
The
cool.
tail is made from scraps from the other part of the body there that I made a Stropel cane out of. So
What it does, you can use up all your scraps and you have absolutely no waste. That's what I like about it.